We still use local service pages on websites. We found that every carpet cleaner, like you've got your carpet cleaners or home service businesses know that Google Maps works well, but Google Maps works in a 5 to 7 mile radius around your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Organically, people still, if you check the stats, the number one source for all of our clients, the number one source of new inbound leads coming to their business across everything we do is organic to the website. Maps second, paid ads, all varieties third. Doesn't mean you don't do them. You just, again, all in mentality. So if organic is the number one inbound lead source, it means that people are finding the website. Readers are leaders. They're moving down past, the transactional areas and actually looking for information, topical conversations and authority, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We find that ranking in a city that's, 20 minutes away, but maybe a great demographic around a golf course and stuff like that. In the ideal client, you might not rank in the maps because you're not going to be there. You're going to maybe run some paid
Sure.
ads, but you're going to have people reading those pages. You're going to get the website showing up for those if you create those local service pages around those different communities as well, service pages and then community pages.
Hi, and welcome to the 91 Day Success Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan, and today I've got with me John from Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters. And John is going to share with us just who he serves, how he serves them, and we're going to hear John's story about kind of how he got into the business and where he's been. John, I guess start for people that maybe are not as familiar with you. Start with just a quick elevator introduction. Who is John? And tell us just a little bit about Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters.
Okay, so I'm one of these crazy career entrepreneurs. I've never really been employed by anybody else.
Welcome to the
Started in
club.
high school. To get brownie points for a business class. A buddy of mine, Scott, and I took our business executive summary and proposal document we were writing to the bank to see, just on a lark to get a sign off on it to get extra brownie points. And the bank manager said, "Hey, you guys seem awesome. How about I lend you the guys the money to start this window cleaning business you'd done this report on." Next thing you know, we're window cleaners with a van and ladders and stuff like that summer. And that lasted 3 or 4 years until Scott went off to college. And I bought into a janitorial business, grew that in my early 20s. And then bought into a carpet cleaning franchise, ran that for 27 years. And in the middle of that, built up and sold a couple Molly-Made franchises, 3 of them actually, and helped a flood restoration company go from 0 to 150 million a year before it got bought out by one of the big conglomerates, and a whole bunch of stuff in between. And then in the middle of COVID, 2 years ago, coming up almost 3 years ago now in May, sold off the final brick and mortar business because all the way through that journey I learned marketing and kept getting asked, how do you market this stuff? Why are you so successful in such a small town? And why have you not been a carpet cleaner in the truck beyond your early 20s? Like I was in the truck for 2 years and all that kind of stuff. So I started doing consulting and then eventually digital marketing and a general agency serving everybody and anybody because I was speaking at the Chamber of Commerce here locally.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually said, you know what? I know cleaners. I know carpet cleaners. And about 4 years ago, we just nailed it down and said, we're going to sell off or hand off all of our other business and only work in the cleaning industry specifically. So, and that's where we got to for now.
Well, that's awesome. What an amazing story. But there's so much to unpack there. 20 plus years in the carpet cleaning business, plus just the I don't say maid side, but what you said, Molly Maids. I think you said it was a franchise that you worked with. Now you serve, as I understand now, you're serving both carpet cleaners and cleaning services as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, carpet cleaners and home cleaning services. So we work with a couple maid franchises and independents as well as the carpet cleaners. We just don't get into the janitorial side of it as much,
Mm-hmm.
or flood restoration. That's a different beast. But anybody that walks into a home to do cleaning, we help them.
Well, and that makes a lot of sense. I would assume there's a lot of similarities between what you're going to do for a carpet cleaner, what you're going to do for a maid service, and things like that. And I certainly know when we start getting into, like you mentioned, water damage restoration and all that, it's an entirely different animal in and of itself.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that switch you made from, it sounds like early on, obviously, starting the window cleaning business and then getting into the carpet cleaning business and the Molly Maid. why did you settle on marketing, and what part about that do you like as compared to maybe being in the trenches?
Yeah. So, kind of when you first start off, you don't know what you don't know. And
Oh, yes.
yeah, when I started learning sort of like how do you run this thing called a business, um, you're starting to read a whole bunch of books and getting some ideas and, eventually things like the E-Myth and stuff like that. But early on, I realized I needed to figure out how to get more customers. So I joined every possible coaching program in the mid 90s. Like we're talking 95 was when I started the carpet cleaning. So, yeah, and it was just, and I started learning about marketing, learning from marketers. Got to one of the coaching programs, and then Gary Halbert stood on the stage and talked about direct response marketing, and
Mm.
blew my mind. And then, Dan Kennedy, and all of that kind of stuff. I really understood that regardless of how many hats you can take off in the business, and you can eventually hire a general manager, you can hire technicians, you can hire all that, but to strategize or understand the marketing that where you want to carve yourself out in the marketplace, that is still the owner of the business. You don't have to be the guy that knows how to build a website, or back in the day a flyer or a yellow page ad or whatever.
Hmm.
You can hire the tacticians, but you have to understand the message you want to send, how you want to be different in the marketplace, and how you want to stand out. And so kind of realized really early on that if you get the marketing right, um, you grow, you get customers, and now you can figure out the rest of the business, and keep the rest of it running.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I mean, what a great transition and a great story as you figured that out. I like your comment. I think I agree with you entirely. Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And then as we learn, we're like, man, I like doing this part better, or, this part really appeals to me and fits in. Talk to me a little bit about the common marketing challenges, John, that you run into and that you're seeing carpet cleaners and maid services that they are running into, and how do you guys help address those?
Yeah, I could say we could probably go back to when I first started talking to other carpet cleaners just in my circle and at events that we met up with and stuff like that. And they were like back, like say 2001, 2002, 2003. John, what's the best flyer you've got that you send out that gets, a couple, 50 to 100 leads a month? And I'd be like, gosh, if you could find that flyer for me, I think it's amazing. But I can tell you the 20 to 30 different things we do to get 3, 4, 5 customers, leads a month, that turn
Yeah.
into customers, and how we convert them better with better scripts, and how it's an all-in perspective. Your business is all of these pieces moving together, and you've got to kind of stack and grow every year better and better. I talked about that again 22 years ago now. I talk about that every single day with our clients and with people in the industry that reach out to me and want to know what we do and stuff like that. It's like, they want to know, oh, do you run Facebook ads? Well, yeah, it's one place.
Hmm.
Do you run Google ads? Yeah, it's one other place. But do you also do database marketing? Do you have conversion optimization? Do you follow up with your leads? And I just start telling them, showing them the stack of, where you need to get to. And I think it's the biggest mistake in business in general. Not, it doesn't matter what area you're in. A lot of people come at business from a technician's mindset. I know how to be a mechanic, so I'm going to open up a mechanic shop. I know how to, put on a roof, so I'm going to be a roofer. I know how to clean carpets. I worked for a guy, so I'm going to go clean carpets. I'm going to open a business. And I think it's the fact that you really got to realize that if you're a really good technician and enjoy being a technician at it, you probably should go work for somebody else. You'd have less headaches and make more money. If you want to run a business, you've got to understand how to work on a business. And it's these always staying, omnipresent,
Hmm.
multi-touch outreach, and really kind of thinking of all of the pieces holistically versus any one thing.
Wow, just so much you unpack there. I think that is so incredibly relevant, just from the silver bullet mentality that I know we've run into for years, which is what's that one thing
Yeah.
that's going to turn my life around, that's going to turn my business around, that's going to make everything perfect. And you're right, it's not one thing; it's a sequence or series of little things that, when built on each other,
Yeah.
yield momentous results. But there isn't just one thing that we can do. There's not that silver bullet that we can grab onto really in any area of life. So I think
Yeah.
that's really, really profound. Very profound. I also think it's interesting that you talk about, the technician versus the business owner. I think you're absolutely right. I think so many people, I've done it myself. So, I mean, I'm not pointing any fingers, but we go, I'm good at this, therefore I'm going to start a business doing that. When in many cases, we then learn that, wow, in order to make that successful, we need to actually be a business owner more than
Yeah.
just that tactician or that technician in order to do stuff. And that's a hard, at least for me, that was a hard transition to make. And I kind of fought it because I know I wanted to keep doing what I was doing. I was enjoying that part. I didn't really want to run all the business. I didn't want to deal with, just yesterday I got an email from our accountants and it was like, all right, here's another IRS requirement that we need to send them another bit of
Yeah.
documentation. And I know you're in Canada, so it may be slightly different, but I'm assuming your federal government's probably like ours.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, okay, how are we going to do this? And the irony was, I got that and my eyes just rolled and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It's nothing. It's information they already have. It's just they want
Yep.
another form filled out. That's it. But as a business person, because I'm a sales and marketing guy, I'm not an operations guy. To me, it's like this huge insurmountable hill I just stand in front of. And I'm like, I don't know where to start. Thankfully, I have people on my team and they're like, that's a 5-minute thing for us to fix. And I'm like, okay,
Yep.
but somebody has to remember to do it. And they're like, that's what we do. And I'm like, good. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't want to. But that was hard to get to that point. And I can certainly see as you're dealing with carpet cleaners and maids is just, being two industries that again, I think would be very technician or tactician focused on, yeah, I'm good at this. So I'm going to go ahead and then you get good at it. So you get more business. And all of a sudden you've got a business you need to run instead of a house you need to clean or carpets you need to clean.
Yeah. And you better be joining masterminds. You better be, you know, collabing with other people that are done it before you and ahead of you. Like I learned, I didn't realize this. I ended up just again doing chamber presentations in 2009, 10, 11, 12, just about stuff I was learning for my own business and
Mhm.
reputation in the internet. And the president of the chamber said, John, you got to talk about this. And next thing you know, he had me talking every month for about a year and a half to different groups about,
There you go.
reviews and reputation marketing. And I built a digital agency out of it. But in one of those groups, I learned all about the auto dealer groups and how they have they actually make it a requirement that auto deal people that own car lots, especially like the big brand car lots and stuff like that, they have to be parts of these groups that are where they're actually in a group with other people that like the Toyota guy is in with the Ford guy and the Chevy guy and stuff like that. And complete transparency, open the book, show your numbers and work together because they've kind of realized if you live in a bubble of your own, of just your own Toyota dealers, or if you don't, you live in a bubble of your own head and the people in the office behind you, you miss out on all of that synergy of everybody else and how people have already solved problems before you. And again, I mean, I just ended up at boot camps and conferences and flying 2 or 3 times a year to groups of guys sitting in rooms about carpet cleaning, but not to learn how to take the next stain out. Like, I mean, that's all good. And we learned that, but this was about how to run the business, how like a little bit of leadership training. I'm talking when I had like one girl in the office and 2 technicians and I'm learning, okay, how do I lead these guys? I'm like
Right.
27, 28. I have no clue. And I better go and spend a week in Arizona and learn all about the marketing and the leadership and the next level stuff and come back with a whole bunch of homework and learn what a SWOT analysis is. And it's like, yeah, didn't think of that when I was starting a carpet cleaning business, but yeah, it becomes a thing that makes you grow.
It does. Well, and I'm sure that's something that virtually all of our listeners can relate to. We've got a lot of business owners and agencies and other that in home service providers, you name it, in the audience. And I think we've all at one point in time, if we've been running a business for more than a year, we've started to learn that it's
Yeah.
different than what we think.
Yeah.
It's different than how we do. Talk to me about some of the types of tactics that you're using with the carpet cleaners and the maid services. What types of things are you finding really are helpful in 2024 in order to get them the attention that leads to the book jobs that they're looking
Yeah.
for, John?
In a word, authenticity. You want
Mm.
to build that local authority. We call it the best known cleaner. You want them to become the best known cleaner. The more you become omnipresent and really well known, price is no longer an issue because it's like, hey, I want you
Mhm.
guys, how much extra to have to pay and stuff like that. But you don't, like you look at a website, you look at a Facebook, a campaign, you look at even flyers going out and door hangers and all that kind of stuff. And if it's a baby lying on a carpet, a family with a dog sitting on a couch, there's zero authenticity there. Like, you don't put postcards out like that. You put out postcards with you and your family. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm John. This is my wife. Here's why I started. Like a door hanger. My door hangers were storytelling on the first page and part of the second. And then, oh, by the way, if you'd like to try us out for the first time, you can look out the window and probably see a yard sign still sitting there from the house we just cleaned earlier, today. Why you're seeing my door hanger. Your neighbor, go ask him how we did if you want. But we'd love you to try us out. And new clients get this bonus. It was never discount. I learned early on not to do discount marketing, because then you find the discount minded people, but you give
Yes.
them a value added, right? So, hey, if you get us into your home, we'll give you free protection, or we'll clean one extra room for free, or we'll, whatever that is. But, market better, but market with a very authentic message. And it works well on Facebook in today's day and age. It works well digitally and offline. It's just be authentic in your marketplace, come up with a better message, a unique sales proposition, a great risk reversal guarantee, and a great founder story. And you've got the foundation of being different and answering the question, why you over anybody else that they can choose from.
I think that's really, really wise. I like the way you present that and lay that out. That makes so much sense. Um, Talk to me when it comes to that. You make me think of, you and I probably both sat through the seminar, because I know we have the same coach that we were, one of the same coaches we work with. But they were talking about how Facebook ads in particular are really showing that the images that resonate the best are not the images of, the carpet cleaner standing next to his truck holding the wand and all that, but it's the carpet cleaner and his wife out to dinner that took
Yeah.
a selfie shot. Are you seeing that working in the carpet cleaning and the maid services as well? You kind of referred to that. I want to make sure I'm understanding properly. Or is it better to say, okay, no, we need to use this, image of us in front of the perfectly clean trucks or stuff like that?
Yeah.
What is resonating better?
Yeah, so we actually call those personal branding ads in our world, because it's like we find that there's a really good mix with Facebook ads. There isn't just one thing. It's like the image stops the scroll. So if it's you and your family out and about, and you're at Disney, you're out fishing, you're playing soccer, the sons are in football equipment, and you're just kind of hanging out, and it's not like this staged photo. It stops the scroll and makes people go, "What's this all about?" And then they read the first line, "Hey, how's it going?" Whatever, Atlanta homeowners. I'm John here, the old guy in the picture with the family. Want to tell you a little bit why we, what we do and why we started the business. That, again, that's that authenticity that's going to get read. Or some people going to go for the ads where you see, like in carpet cleaning, it's almost like an eraser on a really dirty carpet being cleaned well.
Yeah.
It's just, is that going to stop the scroll like it would on a TikTok? Yeah, for sure. And then if your ad can catch the retention, it's again, Gary Halbert 101. What's the reason for the very first line or the headline of a letter or a sales piece or anything? Just to get them to read the next line. What's the purpose of the next line? To get them to read the next line. So it still comes down to good copy to see if they are the ideal audience to pull through. But if you can stop the scroll, and we're finding that just, good old boy, aw shucks, ma and pa kind of stuff, is resonates well with people, because they are oversold and over, glamorized with the corporate ads. So,
Yeah. Oh,
they're not.
absolutely. Absolutely. Do you work primarily, John, with local independent shops? Or are you working more with the franchises? I know you've got experience on both
Yeah.
sides. I'm just curious where you work more.
Mostly independents. We do work with a bunch of franchises, but it is the franchisor. We've been the preferred vendor for a couple franchises for quite a while now and stuff like that. And other ones we're trying to get in to become the preferred vendor, or at least on their list, because you can work with a lot of the operators who go, "Wow, I've listened to your podcast, watch your webinars. I love your style." And they don't teach any of this at the head office. They do a good job, but they do a lot of, again, corporate colors, corporate stuff.
Sure.
And there's a grassroots component, even if you own a Subway or you know what I mean, whatever, a Dunkin' Donuts. There is a in the local community, there is a grassroots component to building that
Absolutely.
business. And I don't care if you're again, in a carpet cleaning franchise, a Molly Maid franchise, or whatever. Yeah, corporate's going to give you a lot of foundation and backing and name recognition, but you're still now the owner of that. And Um, you don't want people just buying the corporate name without knowing, hey, here's why I bought my franchise. Here's why you can count on me to do the job right. And if there's anything you're unhappy with, call me directly. All of that kind of stuff still resonates better and stands out more and doubles your sales just by being more authentic.
Well, it reminds me so much of something a coach taught me many years ago, and that's people buy from people they know, they like, and they trust.
Yeah.
And whether you're running a franchise or not, I'm less hiring the franchise. I'm hiring you, John, to come clean my carpets, or at least you one of your team to do it.
Yeah.
Because then, if I know there's a problem, I can reach out and say, "Hey, John, what happened?" And
Yep.
you're not on the other side of the world. You're not going to tell me to, you'll take care of it and ignore it or anything like that. Again, you're somebody I know, I like, and I trust. And certainly, I think in the local marketplace of both carpet cleaning and maid services, that's got to be as critical or more critical than anything else,
Yeah.
especially if you can combine that, like you mentioned, with a good, solid brand that creates trust and credibility so that it isn't just Billy Bob in the back of his truck.
Yeah.
It is somebody that does this and does this professionally. So,
Hmm. Absolutely.
well, I don't know how your crystal ball is, John. I know mine's a bit cloudy and cracked, but as you look forward to 2024, we're recording this and this will go live in February. As we look forward to the rest of the year, what things do you think that carpet cleaners and maid services and just entrepreneurs in general should be paying attention to about their marketing and the things they need to do to stay in front of their audience in this increasingly complex and competitive marketplace?
Yeah, so we teach our clients to tell project stories, like actually in on their social media, in their newsletter, email newsletters, in their lead follow-ups, like long-term lead nurture. Somebody reached out, said, "Hey, I'm interested in the cleaning services." And for whatever reason, they didn't book in that 1 or 2 week window of kind of chasing them down to make sure they're still interested. Long-term follow-up with stories of clients that you solve. So before, during, and after pictures and little videos, and tell the story and post those around. There's a couple, again, it almost goes back to like that with those personal branding ads and really building that local authenticity and local authority. Where the storytelling fits in as well is it's not a call to action. You're not going, oh, and if you want this great thing, come and try to. It's subtly obvious that, hey, we just solved another problem. Hey, we just solved another problem. Hey, here's another happy client that gave us this great testimonial, and check out what we did. Look at this, spot and stain that came out. Look at the way we rescued this carpet they thought they're going to have to replace for thousands of dollars, and we saved it. And here's their story. You post those into Facebook groups where your ideal customer avatar is. You
Mm.
post those in the Facebook groups where your referral partners, the missing link that a lot of small businesses don't think about is, in our world, it's like interior designers and real estate agents and furniture stores and flooring stores and that can cross promote you, because that's who's selling the stuff that you're cleaning. That's who's outfitting homes, things like that. Like renovation contractors should have a duct cleaning company, in their back pocket all the time. A great one, not just the guy that's the cheapest, but a great one that makes their brand look good. Because again, you do renovations, you're going to get dust throughout the house. A duct cleaner is going to help at the end of the whole thing, and stuff like that. And the same in the carpet cleaning world. It's, you go to buy or sell a home, and there's real estate agents going, I'm going to give you carpet cleaning as a gift because you bought a home and the carpet needs cleaned. Or I'm going to suggest the guy selling gets the carpet cleaned before we start listing and showing the home, because, oh my gosh, that's going to be a problem. You need to be reaching out to those every single week. Well, if you reach out to those cold, we all know how cold outreach goes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But if you reach out to those and they've seen, oh my God, I've seen you guys, like you're posting every week or two in the Facebook group all about these customers you're helping. Yeah, I know who you are. Sure, I'll sit down for a coffee with you and learn about your referral rewards program for real estate agents. And now that's marketing again. Again, marketing hat of the business owner. You don't get that when you're out cleaning carpets. You think of those things when you're working on your business to be the marketing strategist for your brand.
It reminds me of that omnipresence that you were speaking of early, that wherever your potential audience is at, whether that be your direct customer or the referral partner, sometimes even more important, you've got to be where they're at and be omnipresent so that every time they think of a maid service or they think of carpet cleaning, they're always thinking of you. Because like you said, then when you do that cold outreach, it's really not cold outreach. It's almost a warm outreach
Yeah.
because they already know who you are. There's a I want to say, a tendency to already be comfortable with who you are and what you're doing. And it
Mhm.
just makes that entire process so much smoother because you're already credible. Again, if your name's Billy Bob, I'm sorry, but you're not Billy Bob's carpet cleaning service
Yeah.
that's working out of the back of a pickup truck, because they now know who you are.
Yeah.
And again, if you've got Billy Bob's, that's great, and I have no problem with that. I apologize, but I'm trying to think of something that fits in there to do. We run into that. I talked to this morning a client that, or another agency that focuses on tree services, and they were saying, similar. They're unlike carpet cleaning, but they're trying to compete against the guy that when the storm comes, he runs around in his 4x4 truck and a couple chainsaws and is like, "I'll take care of this for you for $500."
Yeah.
In even in carpet cleaning, I'm sure there are people out there that are trying to get by and not do it the right way, or using the wrong chemicals and all that. So being able to share those stories like you're talking about and demonstrate that credibility and that proof has got to be so incredibly powerful.
Yep.
Really, really good stuff. How about any differences, John, on the maid service side, or is it really the same type of things that you recommend there?
It really is the same type of things. It's it when you're being trusted to come into a customer's home, into rooms and areas of the home that their best friends have never even seen, probably in many cases, right?
Mm,
There is a lot of sort of that, again, that know, like, and trust factor that
sure.
you've got to get ahead of time in the marketing, and you've really got to even create a client experience. So when you show up, whether it's to do a quote or to do the cleaning, it's not tongues hanging out of shoes and crotch around the knees. You could have done a great job marketing, and then next thing you know, one of your technicians shows up, and he looks like, just a skater kid from, outside the mall. They might do a great job. Mrs. Jones might end up liking them. But she's probably not going to refer him to her friends and family and her bridge club meetings or whatever, because it's like, that's different than if you show up clean cut, wearing a uniform, having a little bit of an experience. You hand them, a laminate or something to hold on to, you walk them through, you do a consult, and you've kind of planned that whole thing. That works whether it's carpet cleaning, whether it's upholstery cleaning, whether it's window cleaning, anything coming in the home. If you add that layer of sort of deliver an experience, craft it out, add it in, the actual act of doing the job itself, Walt Disney said, like, they hire people by central casting, not HR. It's not human resources. They cast people in the role of
Yeah.
sweeping the grounds and pouring the fountain drink and stuff like that, because they're just playing the role until somebody shows up, and then you have to smile. You have to ask them, how's your day? Is there anything I can help you with? You walk them part way, if not all the way, to the ride that they can't find with the map in your back
Hmm.
pocket, before you go back to your role of sweeping again until the next guest comes into your sphere. Teaching technicians and business owners that they can actually play that game in customers' homes and elevate the service that they provide. It's the same regardless of what the service is that you're providing. So 99% of it is the same psychology. The rest of it is just maybe, and the demographics pretty similar that hire those types of services. So it might be a little bit older, hires permanent maid service, like weekly, monthly maid services, versus carpet cleaner, which might be a little bit younger crowd, and stuff like that, because it's a once or twice a year kind of service. But other than a slight little bit of age demographics, it's the same people with the same discretionary income hiring, wanting to find their people, and just check that off the list and not have to rethink about that every year and go to Groupon and find the next discount guy that might make a mess, or not stand behind their work or whatever.
Oh boy, talk about a blast from the past. Now, it's something I haven't done in years. I know I used to. I'm curious. Is and this may be, bear with me if you're in the audience and you're laughing because Jonathan's clueless, but is Groupon still a thing? Is that still out there?
I still use it as the it is still out there in markets and stuff like that. I still use it as the example of doing that $99 for 3 rooms in a hall, and oh, by the way, we'll also clean your neighbor's house and your mother's house across town, and all for the night, the whole
Exactly. Yeah.
discount thing. It's, it made many businesses go bankrupt, oddly enough, because they'd end up with 200 or 300 jobs, have to go service them and not really understand their actual break even point. And it just sound, and
Yes.
the customer, they never landed the lifetime value of a customer, which is the only thing. Like, lists are the most important thing in business. Do you have a database list? Do you have a leads list? Do you have a referral partners list? How do you build lists that you can market and manage well? And a list of discount shoppers who only want the cheapest price is the worst list you could ever build. And you just spend a whole bunch of money trying to build it, kind of idea. So I don't care if it's on Groupon or if it's Valpak, if it's, any of these, sort of discount platform. Even people do it on Facebook now. They run $99
Sure.
specials on Facebook, but they haven't realized that there's no long-term strategy. The day they stop pumping money into that is the day the phone stops ringing, and you didn't build a database or a clientele that would repeat or refer very much at all.
Well, if you're listening today, I want to just say that may have been the best lesson I've heard in a week, folks. If you're running any business, don't chase the bottom dollar, because all you're getting is somebody that's going to they'll move for a nickel.
Yeah.
That same buyer that chooses you because you're a dime cheaper than your competitor, doesn't matter how good a job you do, they're going to choose your competitor over you because they're a nickel cheaper next time.
Yeah.
It's not a way to build a business. And that's actually part of what I remember from Groupon. I remember, using it a lot, and it's been years since I did, but talking to businesses like, yeah, I did it, and we got so busy. The problem is that we ended up losing money on every single one. And then, exactly like you said, they never came back. Or
Yeah.
I remember talking to restaurants who would do it, and they're like, yeah, it was great, but the people that came in were the people that already were coming in paying full price, and now they're paying half price. So oops, I'm not going to do that one again. I think Groupon did really well until they decided not to sell to Google. What was it? I want to say they got offered, like, I don't know, billions of dollars, and they turned Google down.
Yeah.
And then the market cap, I think a year later, they were like worth 1/10 that much. So
Yeah.
obviously, again, just another example in running a business, not necessarily anything else. So
Yeah.
very, very interesting. One question I'd love to get your opinion on, John, is somebody who's been in the marketing space for a while, and this is a relatively controversial topic, at least in the digital marketing world. And I recently posted about it, so there's no right or wrong answer, but I'm really curious. Recently, a mentor of mine who had a meeting at Google and is on a par to know the people at Google. It's not a BS meeting. He knows those people. He said, he was having a conversation about local service pages. And that's the type of thing that I know a lot of local contractors are looking at. There's two schools of thought. Local service pages, they don't work. Local service pages do work.
Mhm.
Tell me from your perspective, what have you seen for that? I know it's something a lot of local service providers, like our carpet cleaners and cleaners, are looking for. Do they work? And if so, are there things that help them work, some best practices that people should be aware of?
Yeah, well, we still use local service pages on websites. We found that every carpet cleaner, like you've got your carpet cleaners or home service businesses know that Google Maps works well, but Google Maps works in a 5 to 7 mile radius around your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Organically, people still, if you check the stats, the number one source for all of our clients, the number one source of new inbound leads coming to their business across everything we do is organic to the website. Maps second, paid ads, all varieties third. Doesn't mean you don't do them. You just, again, all in mentality. So if organic is the number one inbound lead source, it means that people are finding the website. Readers are leaders. They're moving down past, the transactional areas and actually looking for information, topical conversations and authority, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We find that ranking in a city that's, 20 minutes away, but maybe a great demographic around a golf course and stuff like that. In the ideal client, you might not rank in the maps because you're not going to be there. You're going to maybe run some paid
Sure.
ads, but you're going to have people reading those pages. You're going to get the website showing up for those if you create those local service pages around those different communities as well, service pages and then community pages, and then to rank those, to help those. There is, the old school of sort of organic rankings is, can you create authority for those pages? So can you
Mm-hmm.
create point of interest pages? Can you tell, again, we're talking about these project stories of clients. Well, if you told a story of Mrs. Smith 2 towns over with her tile and grout cleaning, and you solved the problem, and you wrote a whole page about that and linked it to that whatever name 2 towns over is,
Yep.
2 towns away, and tile and grout cleaning, you've now created that authority, and you keep adding those to your website. yeah, we're finding that until Google's algorithm completely changes to something outside of keywords and SEO and all of that, if you can get the algorithm to show the page well and you're writing the content well, the consumers will read it and learn about you and find a way in through your website and your material to start, to start learning about you versus the competitor and kind of why they should be choosing you. So we're finding they still work right now. So
Well, and I actually concur with you. I think they do as well. I've seen it happen
yeah,
time and time and time again that, they do work, and I know there's things to be best practices and all that, but I think, the analogy you gave, there's a really good one. If I'm looking for a tile and grout cleaner and I do a Google search and maybe some carpet cleaners or some cleaning companies show up in the map pack, that's great. But if right below that I see a link to a story talking about how they cleaned Mrs. Smith's carpet, I don't really care if she lives 2 suburbs over, because now they've just validated that they can solve my problem, and I can quickly mark it off my list as a homeowner by going, "Hey, I'm gonna call the people that already had success in this versus calling 3 people that may or may not pick up the phone, and I'm not even sure if they do tile and grout, so I'm gonna call based on that story."
yeah,
And the cool thing as a business is now you're getting a highly qualified, highly motivated lead that's coming into you that has already decided, if you don't stick your foot in your mouth and you don't charge prices like the Taj Mahal, not meaning you have to be cheap, but you got to be competitive, you're likely going to get that business. And I don't know about you, John, I'd rather have 10 of those calls a week than 100 calls of any other sort, because
yeah.
those are going to be good business for me and my carpet cleaning crew, my maid service to run at that point.
And the interesting point about that as well is those customers, um, people hang out with people that are like them. You know what I mean? So those you're getting
Exactly.
the ideal customer, your ideal customer avatar. They spend more money, they clean more often, their stuff is cleaner all the way around anyways. Like we always used to say that, once we started figuring out how to market well, we started cleaning clean carpets, not dirty carpets. We weren't cleaning dirty restaurants and dirty hallways we were cleaning people that were maintaining the
Hmm.
home long term, because they spent a good amount of money on the furniture, the carpets, the whatever. So, and their friends, all again, as we mentioned, are all the same, cut from the same cloth. And when you do the marketing right, you actually, by showing those stories, you're actually telling stories, but also showing pictures of your crew inside a home just like theirs or very similar. So now they already see you in their home. You're already actually starting to have them picture, hey, when our crew shows up and does this for you. And you're
Hmm.
already baiting that little bit of psychology, neuro-linguistic programming, if you want to call it that, that tells them, oh, these are my guys, kind of subliminally in the background, because of the way you're showing that authenticity that nobody else is showing.
I love it. That's so good. Such a great share. Such a great share. One of the things I love to do, John, is the name of our podcast is the 91 Day Success Podcast. And especially someone like yourself who's been in different businesses and had success in so many areas, we love to ask is, if you were going to yourself start a new business, or maybe you were going to advise somebody that was starting a new business, and we put a couple limitations out. You have $1,000 to invest in the business, no more, and you've got 3 months to try to build a business that's generating 10 grand a month in revenue,
Yep.
or 10 grand in revenue. What would you do in 2024 as you take a look and you said, all right, I've got the world's my oyster, I've got a grand, and I've got 3 months. What are you going to do, or what would you advise somebody to do based upon that criteria?
One of the things I would advise on it is, don't plan to hide behind your computer or your cell phone and hope that you can just sit at home all day, just waiting for the
Hmm.
phone, whether it's a service business or even a digital marketing business. But I would say that you would need to um, get your first couple of clients, maybe even pro bono, to create your case studies. And
Great
you need
idea.
to go out and figure out where your referral partners and that world actually lives, and market to them. They always say that you're one JV relationship away from a seven-figure business. And whether that's the local community, again, as I mentioned, like I was a shy kid at 23, 24 years old, moved to a town of 30,000 people, away from where I was raised, partially because I was shy, didn't want to walk into stores and realize I knew the guy behind the counter and we didn't like each other from high school or whatever. So I moved away to a town completely like an hour and a half away from where I grew up, and did $100,000 in carpet cleaning in my first 12 full months in 1995 without
Wow.
no internet, no yellow pages yet, didn't come out till the year after, and knew nobody. And it was the hustle, walking up and down putting on the game face, walking into all the stores, joining the bed and breakfast association. That was my first JV that got me in
Hmm.
front of, and that made my, and so not only do you end up maybe with some of the staff members or whatever, deciding, hey, you seem nice, can you come and give me a quote at my house? But yeah, I'll let the boss know next time he's in. And he took this free spot out for me and stuff like that. That was my carpet cleaning angle. In any business, it's what can you do to give away for free? What can you do to create case studies? How can you share those case studies with ideal potential referral partners to hit a much wider audience much quicker?
I love it. Yeah. Adding value to build your audience and build your credibility. Great,
Yeah.
great suggestion. I love that. Well, John, if we've got people that are listening to us today in the carpet cleaning business, in the maid service, and they're like, you know
Yep.
what, I need a professional to help me grow and scale this business because, yeah, maybe I didn't get in it because I wanted to do this part of it, or maybe they are in a business side, but they've got other things to do. How do they get in touch with you, John? What's the best way for them to reach out?
Yep. So carpetcleanermarketingmasters.com is the website. All over it, you can click on a schedule button to hop on a calendar. Krisha is our client success manager. She'll reach out to you and just ask a few questions, make sure you qualify, make sure you're in the niche, you're actually run a cleaning business and all that kind of stuff, and get you onto my calendar for a consult. And we just do a deep dive into the back end of your business ahead of time, check you against your competitors, and then we just have a chat kind of like this. We just have where are you at? What have you done so far? Here's kind of where you need to go. Here's some gaps. We have services that can help, but we can also align you with other things that, aren't related to us that can help as well. So we just have that conversation, make friends. And, if we're not a good fit, you probably know 10 people who are, and that seems to come around as well. Even if we, even if your business is at a level that, is too big, too small, too whatever
Sure.
for the type of marketing we do, we find that we get more referrals just by having good conversations and helping you out and giving you a checklist to walk away with. So
Well, we'll put that contact information here on the screen as well as down below and to be in the show notes. So if you're driving along, don't hesitate, reach out. And I want to encourage you, if you run a carpet cleaning business, a maid service, and you're just trying to see what your options are, reach out and talk to John and his team and find out whether or not they can add value to you. I know a lot of people in the digital marketing space, as does John, and he's one that I can definitely recommend. He's got the credibility and the character to carry through. Give him a shot and find out if there's a conversation to be had. So, John,
perfect.
thank you so much for your time today. We're grateful. I know you've got a lot going on, and in fact, this is the second time I've been on a call with you today. This time for sales. The last time was some coaching, but thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And again, if you've been with us on the podcast, I want to thank you for listening to us. We would certainly appreciate your thumbs up, your rankings, and if you've got questions or guests you'd like us to see us to interview, please let us know as well. With that, make it a great day, everybody.